So I love to sit on the floor in front of a heat vent. I'm a really tense person. It's my best way of relaxing. It's like my zen place. And a couple years ago, I decided, fuck it. I'm going to get a pillow. I'm going to take a nap laying on the floor in front of the heat vent. And it was great. The carpeted floor was about as comfortable as a mattress, really. I mean, mattresses, I think, are oversold.
You're not a mattress guy?
Yeah. So I ran into a problem sleeping on the floor, which was one time I accidentally slept on hundreds of tiny ants. I thought my skin was dry because I was just sitting in front of the heat vent too long. But really, there were a bunch of tiny ants that I couldn't see in the carpet, and they were biting me. And I finally figured it out. So, yeah, sleeping on the floor, kind of dumb, but...
That just sounds like one of those horror movies they used to play at midnight in the 70s, you know.
This happened about 3 months ago. And
oh, man.
So, yeah, it's a real thing that happened. I'm trying to make a bit out of it. I haven't gotten it that far yet.
Now you're ready for the next Middle East war, so we can send you.
So. And then the other reason that it's probably not good to sleep in front of a heat vent specifically is that I saw on a TV you can get a stroke from dehydration. And so, if you're sitting in front of a heat vent and you're conscious, if you're becoming dehydrated from sweating and evaporation of fluids,
right.
you'll just get thirsty. You'll drink
water. Yeah.
So you don't think about it. But if you're asleep for hours, you might just get more and more dehydrated and have a stroke or something. So I stopped sleeping in front of the heat vent. But before I ran into the problem with the ants, I started questioning the purpose of beds. Do we really need beds? Mattresses aren't much more comfortable than the floor. Why do we need beds? And some people think that humans have always slept on beds. We eat food, we breathe oxygen, we sleep on beds. That's not the case.
Not the beds we have today.
Yeah, definitely not. So I saw a couple days ago that a show on, I think, Amazon Prime called Time Traveler's Guide. So they show how people lived day to day, where they got their food, how they sleep. And they would just sleep on the floor. And it was Victorian times. They would maybe get some straw or leaves or grass or whatever to lay on so they're not on dirt. But they would basically just sleep on the floor. So it's not totally insane, my thought of not having a bed. I would make the argument that pillows are way more important for comfort than beds.
Yeah, because it holds your head up.
Yeah. That's what you need. I mean, your body is pretty flat, except for you need something to hold up your head. So I think beds get way too much credit. Pillows deserve most of that credit for comfort. And before I slept in front of the heat vent, I usually sleep on the couch because I find the couch more comfortable than a bed.
Yeah, a lot of couches are.
And one of the primary reasons is that I have lost some weight, but when I was at my heaviest, if I slept on my side on my bed, my gut fat would pull out and it would get sore.
Pull away from your ribs.
Pull away from my ribs. And I would have to stuff a pillow in front of my stomach to accommodate the gut fat. But if I'm leaning back against the back of the couch, it provided sideways support for my midsection. So my gut fat wouldn't slosh out. It'd be comfortable. So I think beds, overrated. And so my idea, because sleeping on the floor with bugs, I think the whole purpose of beds probably is to keep you up off of the floor and away from bugs.
Right.
That's the reason they started.
Or not just bugs, there were a lot of other animals back when man was making his way and trying to protect himself from the elements. Yeah.
So I have my idea is a series of ways to make beds better, to justify their existence to me, because I think they're failing in their mission of what they claim to do. Couches are better, heat vents on the floor, other than the ant problem, are better.
You've never experienced a sleep number bed?
No, but I think it's a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, you're talking about improving. Somebody's trying anyway.
Sort of.
I tell you,
I have better ideas.
We had a house fire, and we had a king size bed, and my wife decided that she wanted to replace it with a queen size bed, and I just felt like I lost some territory. Like my kingdom, my kingdom was now diminished or something.
Did she also lose territory, or did she claim the same amount of territory and just leave you with the scraps?
Oh no!
Maybe that's.
I think she thought we were getting too far apart on the king size bed. Oh, plus the kids had room to jump in the bed between us. So if she could get a queen size, maybe there wouldn't be so much room for the kids to hop in. So
yeah. So some of my ideas sort of touch on that problem. So the first idea, obviously, heat vent hookup. Like, why not? Like, so you can lay on top of the sheets and have the heat vent blow on you. And
so you're saying have the heat vent up higher so that it hits you up there?
Yeah, when you're on the bed. So that's a simple one. My other idea, because of my holding in the gut fat problem, I mean, they have some beds that like fold.
Yeah.
Like recline. But what I want is just like a bed that's split in half and like both sides are flat when one raises up, so you can lean against it if you're on the lower half.
Yeah.
To hold in your gut fat. And then, I mean, I brought that up to somebody and they said, well, you could lean against the wall. You could put the bed against the wall and lean against the wall. I think they were trying to kill me. Because
your weight would push the bed away from the wall.
You'd fall between the bed and the wall. I mean, I wouldn't advocate that. Were you able to get out without assistance?
No, I needed assistance.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was horrendous.
So this would be a safe way to get the midsection support to hold in your gut fat without risking your life by leaning against a wall.
Now my wife's parents had a single mattress in their bedroom, but my parents and both sets of my grandparents on both my mom's and my dad's side slept in split beds.
Oh, they exist. Oh, really?
Yeah, just like you saw on the TV shows in the 50s, like I Love Lucy, where they couldn't be in the same bed. People lived like that.
So they're like right next to each other as one bed.
But they were split. I mean, when my mom made her bed, she would push my dad's side to the right, she'd push her side to the left, and then she'd change the sheets on each of the mattresses. There'd be two different mattresses, and then she'd plop them back together.
Oh.
And so if they ever got together, the connubial way, they would have to pick one side or the other because they would fall in between the split if they said anything in the middle. And my dad's parents, they had a nightstand between their two mattresses. And my mom's parents, theirs were on two opposite sides of the room. I mean, they had to make eyes at each other. I guess that was part of the romance was, looking across the room and catching each other's eye.
So my idea, I guess it already exists, the split bed, but you'd make it so you can't fall all the way to the floor in between them. So there wouldn't be a crease going all the way down to the floor. You might fall between 8 inches or 10 inches down the length of however deep the mattress is, but you wouldn't get stuck. And then both sides would be adjustable, so you can raise one higher than the other, so you can lean against the side of the other one to hold in your gut fat.
How about a body pillow? Or just take a cushion off your couch?
Yeah, I mean, you can jerry-rig solutions to accommodate the failure of beds to serve their purpose. Like an iPhone case. Like maybe they just make the iPhones better so you don't need all these accessories. Fuck those guys.
Yeah.
So the split bed with adjustable height. I think I covered that. The other one, so if you have two fat people, only the one on the bottom would be able to lean against it to get the gut fat support. So maybe you could, instead of you could have like a rail on the side that to lean against, so you're not leaning against the wall, like a sideboard.
I bet if you talk to fat people, they've probably got even more ways to use their bed. I mean, I'm sure they have to accommodate two fat people.
Yeah, I don't know how to broach the subject.
Neither do I.
Like, I suppose I could find out maybe some of this already exists. The other one, I call it mattress tents. And so basically, if you're sleeping during the day, it'd be like a tent on top of the bed. Pretty obvious.
Okay.
And so it could shield you from light. You could maybe set the temperature in your tent. And if you have the split bed, each side could have its own tent. And if you want to make love, you could open up like the love flaps to separate the two halves of the tent. So
you've never seen a canopy bed?
Well, I mean, I've seen that like for like jungle vacations, like with mosquito nets and
Right.
stuff.
No, what I mean, there have been some bedrooms that have had canopy beds. I think I've seen them for sale at Art Van before, actually.
So maybe I'm just advocating shit that already exists. But so then maybe there's something novel here. So you could have soundproofing.
If you say vibrating bed, now we know.
Well, that's I wasn't going to go there because that's pretty. That I know that exists. And so if each half has its own tent, somebody snores, soundproof them. If somebody has a gas problem, they could get in their half of the tent. They could like save a marriage that way, Like, sick of your partner farting at night, and keep out the bugs. If you're in a tent, not only do you have to not worry about laying on the ants, like they can't even mosquitoes can't get in. Whatever pets are annoying you, jumping on the bed, you could lock out the pets, lock out the kids.
Yeah. There's also a door on the bedroom for that. So
yeah. But the problem with that is like with the soundproofing and stuff, like you might not have the money to build that into your house or have like a separate temperature control. That's another thing. So people talk about like not looking at iPhone screens, like looking at light things when you're trying to sleep, like dim the lights to help you sleep better. Lowering the temperature also signals your body that it's time to sleep too.
Right.
People don't talk about that as much. But if you had like a bed tent that slowly lowered the temperature, it might signal your body that it's time to go to sleep. It might help you sleep better.
That's a good idea.
So my other idea is like a mini panic room. So if you've got the split bed, if you like lower the one side as low because it can go and raise the other side as high as it can go, you could open up like a gap that you could crawl in to hide like under the bed.
So when the murderers come in, everybody else gets murdered but you because you've got yourself in the gap on the bed.
Yeah, and then you could make like the mattress like bulletproof, and you could put like sniper holes and stuff, so you could lay there and like shoot at their feet.
Got Macaulay Culkin in her bedroom.
I guess, Nick, would that be legal?
Like, if they're in your house, you can definitely shoot their feet.
But if you shoot the back of their feet, is that considered shooting them in the back?
Oh, no. You can shoot them in the back, in the front, wherever you want. If they're in your house.
Yeah, if they're in your house.
You can shoot them wherever.
I thought you couldn't shoot people in the back, even if they're in your house. But
No. You can shoot them wherever you want.
Okay. I'll have to keep that in mind.
No,
I don't have
back into your house.
You gotta make Nick a regular, for Ask the Lawyer on all of your ideas.
Ask the Lawyer,
yeah. And then my last thought with this is instead of having a panic room that opens up like in the middle of the bed, you could have like a chute to like, let's say you have a hard time getting up in the morning and the alarm isn't good enough.
Yeah, we're talking Pee Wee Herman now.
Yeah, you could do like a Pee Wee Herman type thing. Or it could fold down in the middle to like make you fall into the chute.
Yeah.
And, you'd end up in the
one goes like this, one goes like this, so that one's higher than the other one's boom, boom. Yeah.
Exactly.
I like that.
So that could wake you up, send you into the bathroom or a pool or a hot tub or something. Or if you're like, let's say you have a lot of one night stands and you don't want the awkward post-coital conversation, you just send them down the chute,
Where your car and driver are waiting for him at the bottom of the tube,
Yeah. So, those were my bed ideas. You guys have any bed ideas? You like my bed ideas? Got a couple more minutes here.
Sometimes I think I would like my bed molded for when I lay sideways, because I tend to be a 3/4. I'm a 3/4 sleeper. I don't sleep on my stomach, but I sleep on both sides and on my back.
Yeah, same.
And it would be what I do is I'd like to have a 4-pillow routine, but my wife has diminished it to 3 pillows, where I got one under my head that holds my neck even with my so it's up above my shoulder. Otherwise, I get a crank. I got one that's between my legs, and that's just because my legs get sweaty. And then I have another one that takes care of my fat ripping from my ribs.
Okay, I'm not the only one with that problem.
You're not the only one with that problem. So. And the fourth one would be over the top of my head, and it would also be for I just put it on my head. I can still breathe because there's that space here.
Well, you only need to fail to breathe once.
Oh, I don't know. Well, I turn the pillows when I turn my when I go to my back. The pillows sort of get flopped around. And it happens while I'm sleeping. I don't even know I do this. I get all this detail from my wife because I'm sleeping all the time. I have no idea what position I'm in all night. I just know that I don't sleep on my stomach because my wife tells me I don't sleep on my stomach. But if they could make the beds not so soft that I would sink into them, but to be able to contour to my side, because they're built for you to lie on your back, not really on your sides.
Yeah. And then for laying on your stomach, you could get like the dick hole, like a massage table or something with a dick hole.
Yeah.
I don't know how common those are.
I'll just go down the street to Glory Hole Beds down there and Glory Hole Beds Incorporated. See if I can pick up something.
I mean, you don't have to use it for that purpose if you don't want to. I mean,
you can also get it in bunk beds. So.
I call that a sleepover.
Oh, I did have one idea in the past that I called mind control yoga ropes. And so my idea is that when you exert energy to yawn, you're defeating the purpose of relaxation.
Okay.
So I would have like a mind control helmet that would like tell your arm, like pull your arms
apart.
It would like control robots to do that. That way you don't get less tired when you're yawning before sleeping by exerting muscles.
Oh, that's funny.
And then I thought, well, the things, the robots controlled by the mind control yoga ropes could like hold like a hammock type thing that you could sleep on. And then with that, you could have like, it could wheel in a toilet underneath you and you could like use the bathroom. It could be like the silly thing like that. Like, you wouldn't have to get up to go to the bathroom.
Really? Have we gotten to that point that we want something where we don't have to get up to go to the bathroom?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you have any prostate issues yet, but I've heard it's an annoyance for older gentlemen.
I'm 59. I'm up all the time.
Would you buy any of my bed ideas? I think we got like 30 seconds.
I like the one where you can hide in the bulletproof bed. Yeah. I like that, and I like the one.
I do like that.
And I like the one where you go down the chute. Maybe if you could figure out a way to wash yourself while you're going down, make that chute long enough that you get soap and then scrub and then rinse, right as you're going down, and then have your suit waiting for you at the bottom,
like a robot holding it open, and then your feet
go right into
the pant holes,
and maybe have some socks tied to the bottom of the pants.
Yeah,
just have all that ready going for you, and then you're like that would be very Pee Wee Herman, that's for sure. I'm Mark Sweetman.
I'm Nick Leydorf.
I'm your host, Tom Walma. This is Creativity Wasted. If you like this podcast, please subscribe and give a review or rating on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or wherever you got it. I have a website, creativitywasted.com, and I also started a Patreon. So if you love the show, consider donating to Patreon. Thanks for listening.
You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.